Hi, and welcome to Learn Cello. My name is Kristen Foster, and I am really excited to be a part of your journey as you learn to play the cello. I am going to, in this video, go over the supplies that you will need for this course, and at least just to get started. The first thing you're going to need is a cello, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute because there's some more details that go along with it than we can cover some of the smaller details first. And also we'll come back to your bow because you're just going to order that with your cello, and you're going to order the same size that you order. So we're going to come back. So when you order your cello, it should come in either a hard or a soft case. In my video here, I have a picture of a hard case. Either case is fine. Hard cases tend to be a bit heavier, but they are more sturdy, and so they can help prevent damage to your instrument. I recommend a hard case if you're going to be traveling with your cello a lot. If you're going to be mainly playing at home, a soft case will be just fine, and it won't take up quite so much room. The next thing that you are going to need, move this out of the way, is an item called a rock stop. A rock stop looks like a donut of sorts. It's got a metal insert. Mine's black. They come in all sorts of different colors, and any kind will do. This is not always 100% necessary depending on your instrument, but I highly recommend it because even though my instrument has a really sharp point and I don't really need it, I don't like to poke holes in things, and so I use this to prevent damage to my flooring. You're going to want one of those. It's called a rock stop. You're going to need some rosin. Rosin comes in little tubs, sometimes in square boxes. They make some called cello rosin. Violin rosin will be fine to get you started. On the inside, there's a hard material, but if you drop it, it will break. You're going to need a cloth. Any old rag or cloth will do. We just don't want one that has cleaner on it. You're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a music stand. You can use one of these black, big sturdy music stands, or these wire ones that unfold are also fine. Something to hold your music on. You're going to need a chair that allows you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your knees at a 90-degree angle. And we need one that does not have arms on it. So you can see I'm just going to use a regular folding chair. Sometimes I actually like to play on a stool. You take your pick on the chair that allows you to sit with your knees at a right angle. The next is you're going to need some pinstriping tape. This is found in the automotive stores. You're going to end up putting this on your instrument to help you know where to put your fingers down at. I actually prefer the white kind. It sticks better. Do not get the black kind. You won't be able to see it on your instrument. Red would be probably the second best. I have used a few other kinds of tape, but masking tape, duct tape, anything that's going to really leave a heavy tape residue is not what you want. I highly recommend pinstriping tape. This is called Pro Stripe. And then you're going to need access to the videos. Next, let's talk about the cello. I want to start with what not to buy. Please do not buy your cello off of Amazon. They are not a string company, and they don't regulate what quality of instruments are sold. Especially stay away from the Cecilio and the Mendini instruments. The Cecilio instruments, although marketed for a very cheap price, as soon as you get them, they will break and they will fall apart, and your money will just be wasted. The Mendini instruments, although a little bit higher quality than the Cecilios, they will not stay in tune and you will not get a good quality sound out of them. And you'll just be frustrated and you'll quit. And that's not what we want. Our objective is to learn to play the cello, not to quit. What is not preferable, but it may be some of your only options, is a local guitar shop. Local guitar shops don't tend to be experts when it comes to anything other than guitars. So I would avoid I would avoid those places. It's kind of like you wouldn't go and buy a car from Walmart. They're not experts in cars. You want to go to the place that is going to give you the best quality instrument for a fair price. So with that being said, I want to recommend two companies. One is called St. Louis Strings, and one is called Top Notch Violins. Surely there are plenty more string companies out on the internet that are fine to work with. I know Shard does a good job usually. Saga Strings usually does a good job. These two companies that I'm recommending do not give me any royalties for this. I just think they have a really nice program that for renting that you might be interested in. So both companies offer a rental program which works like this. You rent to own your instrument, and then also, let's say you're not in the biggest size of instrument yet, you can rent the smaller size instrument, and then when you grow and you need to move up to a bigger size instrument, or maybe you are on the biggest size instrument but you just want to upgrade the quality of your instrument, they will always take the previous instrument back and apply all that money you've put into that instrument towards the next higher up model. And so no money is wasted. And that's pretty important because some of the smaller cellos are hard to sell back. And some of the lower quality cellos are also hard to be sold back at a fair cost. So they will take they'll take any instrument that they've sold back, and then they will apply the cost towards an upgraded model. And I know for a fact that St. Louis Strings goes all the way from beginning to professional model cellos. I know some of their cellos are being played by professionals who play in symphonies across the nation. So look at those companies, and if not those companies, look at other companies that are string companies that also have maybe a rental program like this, or a step-up program where they will always take their instrument back and then you can apply it towards a better instrument in the future. All right, let's talk about sizing. There is a general sizing for cellos, and then there's kind of a more specific way. The general sizing is that if you are 3 feet to 3.5 feet tall, you would want to be on what's called a 1/8 size cello. If you are 3.5 to 4 feet, you want to be on what's called a quarter size, or 1/4. If you're 4 feet to 4.5 feet, you want to be on a half size. If you are 4.5 to 5 feet tall, you want to be on a 3/4 size. And if you're 5 feet and up, you want to be on what's called a full size. There is such a thing as a 7/8 cello, which is just slightly smaller than a full-size instrument. That would be on a specific basis, not usually purchased, but if you full-size, maybe 5 feet and up, people who have really small fingers might consider a 7/8. But I'm one of those people. I'm quite short. I'm just 5 feet 2 inches, and my hands are quite small. I prefer to play on a full-size instrument because you get a better sound out of it. So 7/8 case-by-case basis, not super commonly used. And then whatever size cello you buy, that's the size of bow you get. Most places will throw in the bow with the cello because you're spending enough money on the cello itself. They're not going to make you pay for the bow too. With that said, most places will also throw in a case and rosin and a rag. So you might ask that when you purchase or go to rent. The next part is the more specific part, and I am sitting further away from the screen intentionally so you can see this. Here's my cello. I'll tilt my screen down a little bit so you can see the bottom. Okay. When you sit in your chair, Move this, maybe you can see through the mirror too. When you sit in your chair, you want your knees to be at a right angle. You're gonna have to pull out what's called the end pin. It's the long part at the bottom here. It goes in and out. You wanna pull it out to where these 3 points can happen. Most people are gonna pull it out maybe about a foot, somewhere in there. But on the back of your cello, there are some points. Those points need to hit you on the inside of your knees. While they hit the inside of your knees, the top part of the main part of the instrument here needs to hit you in the chest. And then lastly, on your cello, there's 4 knobs here at the top. Let's scoot in a little bit closer so you can see. 4 knobs at the top. These are called pegs. Let me show you. Here's a close-up on the end pin too. Okay, so those 4 knobs that are called pegs, the one that's closest to your ear here, it should sit directly behind your ear. So you should have this pointy part hitting your knees, while the top is hitting your chest, and the peg is right behind your ears, or close to that. If one of these 3 things does not happen, then your cello is not the right size for you. Now you might have to adjust it in and out a little bit to make it fit, but if it's drastically not working where this hits your knees, but this shoulder part, the top part of your cello, doesn't even come close to your chest, then it's too small. You're gonna have to work with those 3 points to figure it out. Last test is normally, if it's the right size for you, you can take your right hand and reach across your body, and you can grab the top pointy part, and you can take your left hand and you can reach across to the other point, and you can get both of them at the same time. That's usually a good sign that it's the right size for you. That concludes all the supplies that you'll be needing. In the next video, I'll be talking about a few apps that you'll need to download. We'll be talking about how to tune your instrument and how to get those tapes put on. I'm so glad you decided to take this journey to learn the cello, and I'm excited to get to help you along the way.